And joining me now, former congressman from Virginia, Denver Riggleman. He also was a senior advisor to the January 6th House Select Committee and is chair for the Virginia Republicans for Harris campaign. Welcome, my friend. Good to see you. So is the release of this evidence weeks before voters go to the polls on election interference, is it a way to distract voters from Kamala Harris, as Senator Tom Cotton and then Donald Trump himself are claiming?
No, I think when you're looking at how long this has lasted, I think this came out, I rather would have come out a couple months earlier. But I think it refocuses what the real argument is. And we have an individual where past performance is indicative of future performance who's saying the exact same things he did before the November election back in 2020. So I think it refocuses voters on actually who they're going to vote for and looking at what Donald Trump is as a human being. But the criminal mindset of Donald Trump heading into November of 2020 when he was going against Joe Biden.
So there's one new nugget in Jack Smith's filing, and it was that an aide told prosecutors Trump said, "So what?" when he was told Vice President Mike Pence had to be evacuated from the Capitol on January 6th. How much of this information, Denver, was new to you? Was there anything particularly revelatory?
Not really. I mean, I do like the phone data in there, Alex. That's something that I really like to see. And the fact that they had Trump's phone. However, we also on the January 6th committee had multiple phone numbers that were linked to Donald Trump. And we're talking about evidence that's real. Listening to Tom Cotton beforehand, I mean, he's just sort of hyperbolically, saying things because he really has no idea what happened on January 6th, or if he does, he's lying. But you're talking about the phone data itself, Alex. I think it's interesting that they're going to have the data that during that, I don't know if you remember the phone logs where they said there were 7 hours where there were no phone calls coming in and out of the White House. We know that there were dozens of them, and we know the people who did them, and we even have the White House extensions. We couldn't get exactly who were on the other end of those White House extensions, but my guess is that Jack might have them, and I think that's why you see so much fear in the Trump campaign right now.
I'd like you to listen to a very interesting exchange. It's between my colleague, Ari Melber, this week, and two people you are certainly familiar with, former Trump official Gordon Sondland and former White House Deputy Press Secretary Sarah Matthews, both of whom testified against Trump, and you both said no more Trump shortly after the Capitol attack. Here's that.
Why was it important for you to say no more Trump because of his January 6th conduct, and do you stand by that?
No, I don't stand by it, and I'll tell you why. I've now lived 4 years under the Biden-Harris policies, and I have to say that those policies are not only becoming an existential threat to our country's way of life, but to our allies as well.
I think the difference between us is that I'm willing to set policy aside in this election. I don't agree with Kamala Harris on most things, but at the end of the day, you know what we can agree on? That we respect the Constitution, that I believe she is someone who will uphold it. And Donald Trump has shown us that he won't.
What are your thoughts on all that, Denver?
Oh, gosh, Alex, I have some thoughts on that. First of all, what policies are so damaging to the United States? What are you talking about with our allies? They just spit out this ridiculousness. And the fact is that Gordon wants another job. Maybe he's unemployed. And you have Peter Navarro there who is in jail. I mean, those are the people that are supporting Trump. So you have somebody completely flip-flops because now he thinks that maybe there's a chance that Donald Trump's going to win. So he's completely disingenuous. And he's just full of it. And it's the same thing that they do. It's this hyperbolic idiocy where they're doing these far-right talking points that they're getting directly from the Trump campaign. I almost said the Trump campaign. I apologize about that, Alex. The Trump campaign that they're getting from Mar-a-Lago. And I think it's just ludicrous. And Sarah actually saying, hey, I'm willing to set policy aside. And I get it. That's great that she says that. But the policies empirically and data-driven, when you're looking at jobs, when you're looking at what's happening across the United States, when you're looking at our foreign policy, when you're looking at the fact we have a presidential hopeful in Kamala Harris who doesn't want to leave NATO. I think it's ludicrous that they say these type of things, because my next question was what policies? Where's our unemployment rate? What's the jobs look like? How are we doing on inflation right now? What are you talking about as far as what's going on overseas, right? The Republicans are the ones that are pro-Putin. What are you talking about? And I think it's those type of incisive questions that we need to ask these mouth breathers when they say these type of things and they all of a sudden change their mind based on the fact that they're probably getting paid from Donald Trump. And when you're looking at Peter Navarro, I mean, this guy is nuts, right? He wrote the Immaculate Deception. He was part of the January 6th ridiculousness. He's a known liar, right? He goes against subpoenas. I mean, everything that you can find about a bad human being is Peter Navarro. So I just think that anybody who says those type of things after what we see, what's happening in the United States right now is disingenuous, and they can't pack it up. They can't back it up with any policy positions at all. But other than that, I don't have a whole lot of opinions, Alex.
was going to say, but how do you really feel there, Denver? Anyway, I love our conversations. I love your candor, and you're always fact-based with it. So I appreciate that as well, which means I'll see you again very soon.
Thank you,
my friend.